so much, Ole, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak here today. Welcome to the final presentation of Spaceport Norway 2024. We are going to begin this presentation by demonstrating Norway's unique student scene. As you have seen during the last 2 days, 100 of the most engaged, passionate and talented students are gathered here right now. And they all want to join the space industry. And this is only the top of the iceberg. We are 400 students who have now decided to unite.
So how does this unique space scene actually look like? Well, let's look on the map. It started out with Propulse NTNU and Orbit NTNU in Trondheim a couple of years ago, and since then the scene has been rapidly evolving. We have Portal Space out of UiO in Oslo, we have UiS Aerospace out of Stavanger, we also have USN Horizon out of Kongsberg, and even all the way up in Tromsø we have Ignite UIT. And these organizations have obviously amounted to a lot. Like you can see some of their achievements on this slide right here. We can be quite lucky for having all of these organizations in Norway, because they are the most excited students, they are actually quite knowledgeable and skilled students, and we have a shit ton of them. Like, we have almost 2 organizations per 1 million inhabitants in Norway. Like that is something we can be proud of. And what does this have to say about our future in space?
We believe that Spaceport Norway is one of the most important space events. The most important space event in Norway. We believe it's a melting pot for academia. We think it's really important to do this, to get people together, and to be a melting pot for new ideas. In Spaceport Norway 2023, we had a very special story. UIS Aerospace participated for the 2nd time, and we had the pleasure of participating in the reception for Spaceport Norway, where, among others, we met Major General John Olson of the US Space Force. And so Stian and I asked Major General John Olson, what can we do to have a bigger impact, and how can we realize our big dreams of launching rockets into space and putting stuff into orbit? And he said, unite. We asked many other people, Simon Falk from Innovation Norge and others suggested the same thing. Unite, do something together. And so Stian and I had this idea of making a national organization, but it turned out other people were thinking about the same thing, and Fredo was one of those people.
Yeah, and I remember very well when Daniel and Stian came up to me and pitched this idea, and we got really excited. We ran over to Simon, who was on board at once. We talked to all of the different student leaders who were also on board at once, which proves a point, and that's the need for unifying. And after Spaceport Norway 2023, we went to Oslo Street Food, which we are also doing today, to have a student meet where we can connect in a more relaxed session. And you can see here, after we had a couple of beers, we started to share ideas, and we realized the potential of starting a national organization like this where we could collaborate. We began drafting a contract, which you can see on the table here, also here. I actually have it in my pocket right now. I kept it in my bag for 1 year, so that's really cool.
We need to frame it and give it to Ole, maybe.
Yeah.
So this very serious napkin contract, it sparked some excitement in us, and we just started working on this initiative immediately. And we met up quite often to try to define what is this organization going to look like. Like we have all of these rocket and satellite students organization, but what is NORSTEC going to be for these organizations? So the member organizations, they elected a leadership. And before we move on, let's introduce these guys. So Freder Fluan, he has taken the role as the leader, or the CEO as it's called in corporate language, of NORSTEC. And I've known Freder for many years. He's a trønder, that's a big plus. And he, as with me, started as an engineer in this student organization, in his case, Orbit. And since then he has taken large strides and become manager for numerous projects. And even yesterday, you saw him on the stage here winning the Spaceport Norway 2024 Young Award. So he's a man, he's the right man for the job. So, like, he won an award. He's not alone. Right.
Yeah, and for Daniel, I'm not sure how we even begin to introduce Daniel, but he's the co-founder and also the elected Chief Operating Officer of NORSTEC. And he is honestly one of the most inspiring people I know. And he started UIS Aerospace 3 years ago and took it from zero to one of the most ambitious and largest student rocket teams in the world, which is really cool. And I consider myself very lucky to call him a friend.
Man, we did a thing in a meeting room here where we didn't show each other. Both of the other ones worked on the introduction of the other. So if you start crying underway, please excuse us. Thank you very much, Philo. Simen Flotteflo, I met Simen for the first time at Spaceport Norway 2022, where he presented Propulse and their Bifrost project. And I was starstruck immediately. And this is going to be very hard for me to admit, but I have to do it. I look up to you, NTNU has, there's no doubt NTNU is a very prestigious university, and maybe even more so than Stavanger. But we are close behind, and we are trying to catch up, and we look up to you and the exploits of Propulse NTNU. So this is also the right man for the job. So there is a saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And that is exactly the need for the unity we have in the Norwegian space industry. We want to go far. And so we identified, along with our advisory board, which I'll get to later, we identified what is the most important thing that such a student organization could be focusing on. A thing that is ensuring that we secure our future in space. And that is communicating, sharing experiences, and guiding each other through this challenging industry. And that is the first part of our MVP, or minimum viable product. So throughout different meetings, we have come together and we have shared experiences, and already you see some very positive effects. We had safety things pointed out that we have discussed, and we have agreed to make guidelines for how we, or codes of conduct for how we are going to perform our operations with launching rockets and satellites into space.
And the second part of the MVP is what we are calling the collective, hence the name Norwegian Space Technology Collective, where we're going to try and build a platform. We've already done this, actually, and where we're going to gather all of the students on a Slack workspace.
And in addition to this MVP, we also want to create some additional values to all of these student organizations. And for this, we have a set of programs. The first one up is Skyline. And as you have noticed from stage 2 today, there are a lot of students, and yesterday as well, student rocketry teams from Norway that want to aim high. And we want to enable this to happen from Norway. And we're going to build upon the already begun efforts from Propulse, NTNU, and also UIS Aerospace, and ensure that indeed this can be done safely and in a repeatable fashion, accessible to all emerging student rocketry teams in Norway, and even outside of this country.
And another program which we are really proud of is the North Star Incubation Program. This started during the summer, and we have already signed with 3 new student satellite teams who wants to start with satellite technology. We have UIS Aerospace, that guy, who is starting CubeSat initiative. And we have Interstellar Space at the University of Agder, who is also here today. You should talk to them, really interesting project. And Eclipse and a view from Ås. So that's really exciting. You see we are starting to fill the entire country of Norway with student organizations, but there's one spot that's obviously missing, which is Bergen. So watch out, Bergen, we are coming for you. That's going to be a focus area for 2025. We want to try and start a student space organization in Bergen.
Are there anyone from Bergen here right now, by the way?
Oh,
Okay, so that's the spark that we need.
if I can comment on that, I'd like to point out what is so great about an incubator program like this, because here we are, like a traveling circus, going around the country trying to start other student organizations, or you might call it a pyramid scheme of some sort. But we are wanting to create sort of a compound effect, where we go around and we help others to start up, because our own effect is very limited, especially if you go alone, right? Our effect is limited, but if we can help others start up, their effect, it can become a compound effect. So this is what we want to bring forth in the Norwegian space industry.
Yes. And one of the most difficult parts of doing satellite projects as students is securing funding for launch. So this is another initiative we have where we want to work with ISR Aerospace and Andøya to secure rideshare spots for student satellites, which is going to be really exciting. And if any of you want to work with us on this, please contact us. And we have NORSTEC Summit, which is a student conference that is going to be held yearly. The first edition is going to be in Trondheim at a really exciting venue in September. And also here, we're looking for partners. We have a dedicated team working on this. We actually have 5. Jonas Kloster, who's sitting right here, is the project manager. So if you want to work together with us here on this 2-day event in Trondheim, please contact us. This is going to be really, really exciting. And we want to create a synergy here together with Ole Dokka on Spaceport and try to figure out how we can benefit each other. And another update, I think some of you know about Space NTNU. After many discussions and meetings since the summer, Space NTNU and NORSTEC has officially merged. Space NTNU does no longer exist, but the mission and their projects will continue under the NORSTEC name.
Yeah, and an example of that, you probably have heard about Spaceport sometime in the past. They've actually recorded episodes at previous renditions of this conference. There's actually a new episode that dropped today. So if you want to get a bit more details about NORSTEC, these guys right here, and the student organizations that it represents, you know what to search for. Spaceport, it's on all platforms. And there's a lot of cool guests ready to go the coming weeks and months. So it's exciting.
We are very honored and privileged to have 2 very talented people on our advisory board. We have the legendary Dr. Simon Pete Warden, whom you all met yesterday, retired US Brigadier General and the former director of NASA Ames. We are very lucky to have had him in the process to guide us with what could be a good way to organize this to benefit Norway in the future. And also Ole Dokka, of course, our beloved Ole. He has been there from the start and sort of really wanted this in the same way he wanted Space NTNU, but now in a more national focus with regards to the unique space scene that has developed in Norway.
And we also want to say thank you to the Norwegian Space Agency, especially Marianne Moen here, who has supported us, all of the students with the travel expenses to attend Spaceport. And we are looking forward to working more with you at the Norwegian Space Agency. Yes, so to sum up this presentation, we have the MVP, we have Allmøte, which Daniel talked about, where we gather all of the organizations, and we have the collective, which is a platform where we can share ideas and collaborate more often. And we have the programs. The first one is the Launchpad, where we want to facilitate for a safe launch from Norway. And we have the Rideshare program and the Incubator program. And of course, NORSTEC Summit. And to end this, we have a short video demonstrating the power of uniting.
Class Aerospace is securing our future in space.
Orbit is securing our future in space.
Propulse is securing our future in space.
Portal Space is securing our future in space.
Ignite UIT is securing our future in space.
Thank you so much.